I was 12 years old. I was at a family Christmas party. My aunt turned away a glass of wine because of the sulfites. It wasn't until many years after that, and a long time spent learning chemistry in grad school, that I realized really what sulfites were, and that I had the skills and the education to solve what's a problem for a lot of people.
Even today, there's this artisan feel to winemaking. You wake up before dawn, you walk the vineyard rows, you get to work with your hands. And there's something about being connected to the land that constantly reminds you winemaking is a natural process. I've always been told that good wine comes from good grapes, and that's certainly true. But after the grapes leave the vineyard, there's a whole separate process that starts in the winery that most wine drinkers aren't even aware of. More and more vineyards are going organic, and that's great because that means less pesticides and chemicals in our wine. But wineries still need to use preservatives to ensure that wine doesn't go bad during production. One of my first roles at the winery was adding sulfites to the grapes after they were harvested. And that's when I realized how intense these chemicals really are. That being said, I understand the important role they play in modern winemaking on an industrial scale. But if I could remove preservatives from our wine before I drank it, I definitely would.
Sulfites are an essential preservative in winemaking. They're the reason we can enjoy wines from all over the world. Because without sulfites, the wine would never have survived the trip from the vineyard to your glass. But when you're ready to drink the wine, that job is done. So removing sulfites with üllo lets you bring the wine back to its original state, as if you were drinking it right at the vineyard. This is how üllo works. You pour your wine through, and the sulfites are retained on a filter material while everything else in the wine just flows right past, completely unaffected. That's selective sulfite capture, and it's important because we want to maintain the original taste and character of the wine and only remove that one thing, sulfites. We know that aeration can be really important for wine. For red wines in particular, it boosts the flavors that are already there, but we know it's not as necessary for white wines. So üllo had to have the option of turning the aerator on or off. Wine's unique because it works in so many different settings. We can drink it socially, we can have a glass by ourselves. We knew that and designed üllo to integrate into a glass carafe or decanter if you're serving an entire bottle. But if you're looking to have just a single glass for yourself, it rests on top of your wine glass as well. When developing üllo, we've worked together to make sure that üllo always preserves the integrity, the character, and the flavor of any wine.